Who would you be if you were a god? Well, I wonder if we can't answer that question first by saying, what do you think God would do in any specific scenario, right? Why do you think there are certain issues why God, or that God is able to turn a blind eye to? What is the reasoning that God is allowed to, or doesn't see it as wrong to not save everyone? Who would you be if you were a god? I heard something outside and I was like, who goes there? Not me, not you. So, who was it? It was nobody. Nobody in a physical body, so nobody. Just putting on chopstick. Hi, it's Celeste, by the way. It's not gonna be a long video. It's gonna be a short video because my grandma's on her way. She's gonna come get me, pick me up. We're gonna hang out. But I have thoughts on my mind, like always. Certain environments definitely, like, how would I say it? You know when you buy like a new outfit, like really new clothes that have not been worn by anybody, and you know that, and you kind of unpackage them and it's like they're almost like empty, like they feel nice, like they feel fresh, but while they feel fresh, they almost feel like they hold less mental value. But then later on, my chapstick literally just caught my hair and it started like doing stuff. Like, I didn't consent to that. I don't know what we're doing. I didn't say it was fine. I don't know what we're doing. No, it's fine. I really don't care about that, but it was just weird. No, it wasn't even weird. It didn't matter. I don't know. But yeah, so you know when you buy like a new, like actually new clothes and you're like, they don't hold that much mental value because it's almost like they hold no experiences, right? The more that you kind of go places wearing certain clothes, it's like they have a story tied to them. And then, you know, you go to maybe like a thrift store and you start to feel like some of the clothes there almost have their own personality. It's almost as if they developed their own spirit through just the nature of somebody wearing those clothes, doing whatever they wanted to do. You know, it's like somehow the outfits themselves, like they just carry their own story, and it's almost like they hold this level of remembrance to them. So what I was saying is I feel that way in physical spaces too, like buildings. I feel like I can really easily connect to like the like collective consciousness of a room, or like the energetic mental impressions of a room. Like I feel like that's like complex to say, but really I just mean like if you go into a space, do you feel like you're like I feel like I'm getting feedback from the room itself. Not right now, but I'm saying like in general, a lot of times. Not like it's talking, like that doesn't, not like that really, but it's more so like, you know, I feel like you can kind of tell this space, it's like here we do this, like in this space we are this version of ourselves. Yeah, in this room right now we are this version of ourselves. So that means that no matter who you are, it doesn't mean that you have that much of this energy. Maybe you have an excess of this energy. Maybe you only have the tiniest little bit of this energy, right? But in this space right now, we all collectively are tapping into this energy right here, okay? No matter who you are, you come into this room, this is the energy you're tapping into in this room. Now, tomorrow, you and I are gonna go on a field trip, not actually, but like, imagine, it's like we're going on a field trip, right? We're not gonna be in this space anymore. So we are not going to be this version of ourselves in the new environment. You and I are gonna be this version of ourselves in the new environment. Okay? And that does bring out a different aspect of your spirit in this new environment that now you go and interact with. Or like a different part of your soul or something. I don't fucking know, dude. All I know is that you and I are both going to be different in a different physical environment. And that's just true. It's the same as if you wear a shirt that you've had every day of your life. If I wore your shirt that you had every day of your life, I would be tapping into that energy that outfit is holding, which would be all of the thoughts and emotions that you've experienced while you were wearing it. So it doesn't mean that I would have a lot of that within me. I might not have an excess of those specific emotions and thoughts and feelings naturally, and I might still not have an excess of those thoughts, feelings, and emotions, even wearing your outfit. But I'm naturally going to be tapped into the version of myself that is most like those qualities, even if that barely exists, or maybe it heavily exists and I have an excess of that, right? It can go either way. But say you had a friend who, we'll just use poetry as an example because I feel like that's easier. Say you have a friend who's a poet, but they wear this one specific shirt or sweater. It's a shirt, it's not a sweater. I don't know why. We're doing shirt. I don't know why we're doing shirt though. Yeah, so imagine you had a friend who is a poet, but they wear this one specific shirt every time they write poetry. And you're not a poet and you absolutely can't do it, but you know, your friend writes 47,000 poems a day and they're always wearing this exact shirt when they do it, which is kind of gross because they have to literally wash it every day or they're just re-wearing the same shirt every day of their life. But you get the point. Now you put on this shirt one time. Your friend lets you wear it, you put on the shirt, you write 100 poems while you're wearing that shirt. That's a lot different than whatever I said before, the 47,000 poems. But this is the first time you've ever written poems. So you're still tapping into like the version of you that is most like the version that the outfit suggests that you should be. Right? You get what I'm saying? That's really, but it's the same thing with like buildings. Say you go into a coffee shop. We are all tapping into the version of ourselves that is most like both what the building itself is holding energetically, like all of the memories that other people have left the building with impressions of. Because say somebody gets like dementia, the building is still going to hold those memories. It's not that there's people walking around with those memories. I mean, that would be a pretty cool theory and a pretty cool way to look at it. So perhaps there's a way that can influence something. I'm not going to judge anyone who believes that version. But say, yeah, the building is still going to hold those like energetic impressions and memories. And it's the same with different rooms in the house too, or different specific areas, or, you know, any building you're in. What types of thoughts do you have exactly where you are that are leaving an impression on your space that you are playing into the next day? It's kind of fun. Oh, but I was originally going to take you more towards like, you know who you would be if you were a god, in part based on what you're able to project on the general idea of God, right? I'm saying if you specifically right now were a god, if you turn into a god, whatever, you know, you already know who you would be based on if you really get in depth with yourself, right? And you say, right now, the general idea of God, we can say is clearly not bothered by these specific things that are happening right now. And the general idea of God is rewarding these specific behaviors, right? Because I feel like a lot of people have this belief system where it's like, if you're good, you get rewarded by the general idea of God. Or like, if this specific thing happens with you, it's like God is with you. But if you're this type of person and you did these specific crimes, like God is not with you, right? But so it's like, if you can take the general idea of it, not just leave it as the general like formula, but you have to get really in depth with it. Why? That's the question. Why would God not be okay with these specific things? Why would God not be okay with these other things? Why would God turn a blind eye to these things that God is not supposed to be okay with? Where do God's powers really come from? Who was God created by? Like, I feel like you can kind of tap into your own thought process of who you would be, because as within, so without. So the only version of God that you're even capable of projecting onto is you. You're not capable yes, like, I'm not saying God doesn't exist or gods don't exist. I'm not saying that. I'm saying the first place that you're going to travel to in your blueprint of the understanding of what a God is your own projections. So first, before you find out what exists or what else there is, you're going to find you on the other side. You get what I'm saying? Just like when you judge any characterized, like, category. If you were to judge a person based on their qualities, the first thing you're going to find is not them. The first thing you're going to find is you. It's going to be like, they have this texture of hair and this means that about them. No, that means you think that if you had that texture of hair, you would be these 5 different ways and you would hold these 5 different qualities. It doesn't mean that that person has anything to do with those qualities. The closer you get to a person, actually, the farther away you get. Yeah, the farther away you get. That's so true and so good and so real, because the more that you think that you're perceiving them, the more you're perceiving you and who you think you would be if you had every life experience they've ever had. The more that you're a stranger to somebody, the more that you really know them, and the closer you get, the farther you get, because the more you're actually perceiving yourself. The more you know their story, the more that you're allowed to perceive yourself if you were in their shoes. I don't know. That's just what I felt in the moment. But, tomorrow I might be like, I disagree with everything I said here. And that's cool too. It's just the vibe right now. So I don't know, I hope you enjoyed whatever this is. Just my thought process, just for fun, whatevs, but we can think about things. I love you, bye.